A double dose of tragedy when negligence turns deadly. How could one man be at the center of two separate horrific deaths? The story of Marshall Garrett is a chilling reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked aggression and alleged criminal behavior. This is a case that demands our attention, not just for the victims, but for the systemic failures it exposes. Give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment. In a quiet corner of Harris County, Texas, a series of events unfolded that would shatter the peace and leave a community grappling with unimaginable loss. The name Marshall Garrett is now synonymous with tragedy, a stark reminder of the potential for violence lurking beneath the surface of everyday life. March 23rd began like any other day, but for Harriette Phillips, it would be her last. The 65-year-old neighbor of Marshall Garrett became the victim of a brutal attack by 3 pit bulls owned by Garrett. This wasn't a random act. It was a tragedy years in the making. Phillips, in a desperate attempt to defend herself, wielded a hammer against the attacking dogs. Her cries for help pierced the air, but it was too late. The mauling was relentless, and Phillips succumbed to her horrific injuries. The autopsy revealed a gruesome truth. Phillips' hair and clothing were found in the dogs' stomachs. This detail paints a horrifying picture of the savagery of the attack and the utter helplessness of the victim. Neighbors had long voiced concerns about Garrett's dogs, reporting that they frequently escaped their enclosure and exhibited aggressive behavior. One neighbor even claimed to have been bitten by one of the dogs recently, a clear warning sign that was tragically ignored. Hours before the fatal attack, Garrett was notified that his dogs were digging on Phillips' property. His response, "I'm about to get it resolved," rings hollow in the face of the devastation that followed. It speaks to a pattern of negligence and a disregard for the safety of others. Following the attack, all 3 pit bulls were euthanized. While this action brought a sense of closure for some, it did nothing to bring back Harriette Phillips. Garrett now faces 3 counts of attack by dog, resulting in death, charges that carry significant penalties. Adding another layer of complexity and horror to this already tragic story, Garrett was charged with murder just 1 day before the dog attack charges were filed. This separate incident, dating back to October 2024, involved the death of 69-year-old Alton Martin. The assault on Martin occurred outside a Family Dollar store in Houston. Garrett, along with another suspect, Latricia Washington, allegedly attacked Martin over a paltry sum of $140. This senseless act of violence would ultimately claim Martin's life. Martin succumbed to his injuries, and an autopsy determined the cause of death as homicide due to blunt force trauma. The details of this case are still unfolding, but the connection to Garrett paints a disturbing picture of a man with a propensity for violence. The fact that Garrett was out on bond at the time of the fatal dog attack raises serious questions about the effectiveness of our justice system. How could someone facing a murder charge be allowed to remain free only to allegedly commit another violent act? The Harris County District Attorney's Office announced the charges against Garrett on April 9th, but the damage was already done. Harriette Phillips was dead, and a community was left reeling from the shock and grief. This case is not just about individual acts of violence. It's about the consequences of negligence and the failure to take responsibility. Garrett's alleged actions, both in the dog attack and the murder of Alton Martin, point to a pattern of disregard for human life and a dangerous lack of control. The community is understandably outraged and heartbroken. The loss of Harriette Phillips and Alton Martin has left a void that can never be filled. The legal battles ahead will be complex and emotionally charged as the families of the victims seek justice for their loved ones. The story of Marshall Garrett is a stark reminder of the need for stricter laws regarding dangerous animals and a more effective system for holding individuals accountable for their actions. We must demand better from our elected officials and our justice system. This case also highlights the importance of community vigilance. Neighbors who reported concerns about Garrett's dogs may have felt unheard, but their voices mattered. We must create a culture where concerns are taken seriously and action is taken before tragedy strikes. Legal proceedings in this case will be closely watched, not just in Harris County, but across the nation. The outcome will have far-reaching implications for how we address issues of animal aggression, criminal behavior, and the responsibility of individuals to protect their communities. The pain and suffering caused by these events are immeasurable. As we move forward, we must remember the victims, Harriette Phillips and Alton Martin, and work to ensure that such tragedies never happen again. Their lives were cut short by violence and negligence, and it is our duty to honor their memory by demanding justice and advocating for change. This case serves as a chilling reminder that the choices we make or fail to make can have devastating consequences. It is a call to action for all of us to be more vigilant, more responsible, and more committed to creating a safer and more just society. The story of Marshall Garrett is a tragedy that should never have happened. It is a story of loss, of negligence, and of the devastating consequences of unchecked violence. Let us learn from this tragedy and work together to build a better future for all. This case demands more than just our attention. It demands action. We urge you to contact your local representatives and demand stricter laws regarding dangerous animals and accountability for negligent owners. Share this story to raise awareness and help prevent similar tragedies from happening in other communities. Support organizations that advocate for victims of violence and promote responsible pet ownership. Let your voice be heard and help us create a safer and more just world for everyone.